Excellent.
We now have a recording going.
That's what I just said.
But you were only partially correct.
No, we had a recording going.
What I said was
She
perfectly
had a
true.
recording going.
We, the group. This recording belongs to the community.
I'm memeing because mine hadn't started yet.
Does anyone in this call smoke weed?
No.
Rhythm? You're awfully quiet.
I love that Rhythm did get really quiet. Like, the song ended, I think.
The song is currently ending.
Oh, God.
I'm a master of comedic timing.
Yes.
So, what are Tirisian inns like, Seven, since we're staying the night in Tiris?
Tiris doesn't actually have that many inns, as many people can move fairly quickly. But it's not very large, and there aren't very many visitors. But they do serve an important societal function. They do serve an important societal function. Travelers notwithstanding, so they are around. They're more in the outer areas of the city.
Yeah, that tracks.
It's the more approachable portions, which, tracks. They're not that much different from other inns, other than that most people actually get rooms. Most people who aren't adventurers actually will stay in the inn just on the ground floor with a place around the fire, and that's significantly cheaper. Or in large group rooms. This is actually true for medieval society. Fun fact.
I did not know this.
Yes, sleeping alone is a much more modern development.
That makes a certain amount of sense. Buildings are expensive.
Yes. Interesting fun fact. When the BBC brought they were doing a documentary on like hunter-gatherer African societies, and the BBC executives, not wanting to be disrespectful or anything, gave each of the 20 men that they brought with them to Britain for a short time their own room. And all of the people there were shocked and appalled as a result. Like, is this some sort of punishment? Why, what if they're apart? And the British people were obviously confused by this. And when asked, they simply replied with, well, what if one of us has a nightmare? They were just expecting that they would sleep in a group. This is something
what if one of us has a nightmare? That's kind of
really
sweet.
Cute.
Yeah.
Love that.
Me too. What if I have a nightmare?
I'll help you with that.
Yay.
Warning,
this recording is gay.
Skip from 30 seconds ago to just now if you want to skip the gay.
29 seconds from that point if you want to hear Seven scream.
Should I get a clip stamp for that? Nah. Warning, this recording is gay, followed by
It's fine.
Okay.
It was not that funny. Lena and I are not as funny as you seem to think we are.
Tirisian inns are far more built for, people to actually, and to actually take individual rooms. They're mostly the same, except that the inns have large fires and tables. There are actually booths here
Oh.
with, the
Ooh.
backed chair walls and such. It's much more like a proper restaurant on the bottom floor, and there's also some more open space. It's honestly more similar to a hotel rather than just like a tavern with rooms. This is more like a place where you can eat, but this is pretty distinct from tavern or restaurant.
Mhm.
The first floor has a large waiting room, a couple rooms that are gathering areas for events, rentable rooms, and the upper floors have various rooms in them. The rooms themselves have large beds with nice bedding, pillows and like bed sheet covers, blankets, which are dyed.
Oh. Damn.
Each room has a mirror and a basin that just sort of produces water.
Ooh.
Fancy.
The equivalent
Very
of
fancy.
running water in it's pretty much running water because it creates washing basin with self-creating water and
A squints in bottle of infinite water.
probably for the building and then plumbing. There are vanities in each room, not stocked, but vanities as well as dressers, a closet that's empty, as well as a table in each room, a table and desk. There are smaller, more basic rooms, but pretty much all of them are more akin to that than the traditional tavern room, which is a bed and maybe a nightstand.
What's the deal with the mattress, out of curiosity?
It's not straw. But it is a sealed mattress, so you do not know what it's made of. Feels much more like feather or downing or other similar materials.
This is almost better than anywhere we've even been put up in a castle.
Is there window bread?
There
I
is
don't
not
think there
window
is.
bread. There is a window, there's not window bread.
but they're inhospitable as hell.
That's why I said almost.
There you go.
The castle rooms are also much larger.
Mhm.
Much larger. The beds in the castle rooms are actually better. These are pretty good, much better than any tavern ones, but noble beds outside of Tiris are better than this.
It's nice though.
It is.
John could take a few pointers.
Well, take some notes. I'm sure he'd appreciate it.
I do not think he would.
I can deliver it for you if you'd like.
No. You will not be doing that, and I will not be doing that.
This is almost as good as my room.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, I wouldn't let anyone decorate it. I let Philip have the bigger one, but you let your younger brother get the bigger room? I mean, I had it originally, but I didn't need it, and he ran out of space for bookshelves, so... Riza gives this hopeless look to Cassie like, you see why I have trouble. This man is Spartan!
Knowing look.
Valence is the opposite of Spartan. He loves
No.
things.
No, I know this. However,
Valence loves any object presented to him.
let me rephrase then. Understanding look.
Mm-hmm.
Am I the only one reaching the point where it feels like Paris is too good to be true?
No, I get you.
Yeah, like, someone has to be paying the price for all of this, right? It's not like you can make all of this out of nothing. Well,
I think it's the skeletons, Luke.
oh. Oh, yeah. And I guess they wouldn't mind because they're skeletons?
I'm not really a skeleton expert, despite having one. But I don't think they'd mind.
From my admittedly limited understanding of undead, they don't give a shit.
I don't think they think enough to consider that. No. Sorrow, a priestess.
Mm. Lucasi, with a favorite enemy of undead, he'll pipe up with, they don't.
Pretty sure you could steal a skeleton's arm and hit the skeleton with the arm, and the only reason it would do anything is because it was attacked, and not because you stole its arm.
I think it could try to get its arm back because it can't function without its arm very well.
It depends on how smart the skeleton is. If you manage to get the arm without making it think it was attacked, it probably wouldn't notice. Well, if you separated it from it, not like how you steal her arm.
Cassie, who didn't notice that her hand is currently being held. Fair enough.
Cass, you're not gonna go around holding any skeleton hands, are you?
I really do not intend to do that. Ever. For any reason.
But what if
That's
you
good,
meet
you
a nice skeleton?
Then she better remember she's married! To me, not a skeleton, Jay.
But what if she has to shake hands?
Shaking hands and holding hands are two different things.
What if she needs to teleport with a skeleton?
Do you always hold hands every time you teleport? Do you think that I'm always holding Emerson's hand when we teleport? I'm not.
Yeah, because you're holding Cassie's hand.
She usually puts a hand on someone's arm or something. She's not just like, I'm gonna hold everyone's hand. We're not gonna create a little circle where we all hold hands and chant and sing songs, make friends with each other.
You do realize that is what the sauce does. Like, they literally do that. They
Yes,
hold hands in a circle.
That's who I'm baking! I do not know why they are like this.
They're the sauce.
They
That
sure
is awesome.
fucking are.
My brother was gonna go and, like, head up to New Tarek to see what it was like. My other brother. I don't talk about him much.
How many siblings do you have?
2.
Oh. Yeah, fair enough.
I normally talk about Philip, but, I have another younger brother. They're both about a, like, year. Philip's not much younger than me, like, about a year.
I mean, yeah. Fair enough.
Fair enough. What about your other brother? What's his name?
Looks up other brother's name.
It's not in Texas. Or is this also not in Texas?
Because I know what I think it is, and I know that I'm wrong.
Well, while we wait for you to do that,
Gillian. There we go.
I thought it started with a G.
I knew it started with. I also knew it started with a G, but I wanted to call him Gwaine, and that's Emerson's friend.
It's Emerson's friend.
yeah.
It's way too tirisian of a name, Mr. Duazzle.
Have y'all noticed any? Have.
They're Arthurian.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we know.
You've explicitly stated this before.
Yes. Duazzle also has a naming convention.
Do they?
Yes. They're all Ranger's Apprentice characters.
You motherfucker.
Luke Skywalker.
Luke and Sir Avalon are not. But, even South Derium has a few of them. Baron Urgle?
I knew some of those names sounded familiar, Seven.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, fuck, where have I heard that name before?
Baron Urgle is one.
You've cleverly avoided all the main characters' names.
Yes.
Because I would have called you out for that shit immediately.
Mm-hmm.
You drop a Horus and I lock onto you.
Another Ranger's Apprentice name is... That's not what I need. Here we go. Baron Fergus is also a Ranger's Apprentice name.
It's been a lot of years since I read those books.
Yeah, a lot of them are incredibly minor characters.
Yeah.
As
and
in,
it's
like,
been...
they don't have pages on the wiki.
Ha! Oh my god, it's a wiki.
It's a wiki for everything.
There's even a wiki for monsters.
Technically speaking, yes.
I'm not adding you at all.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I got distracted by Nico's meme. What is...
I'm just making fun of wiki for something. It's irrelevant.
But I want to know.
It's about the monsters wiki.
Ah, okay.
If you want to hear the joke, you can rewatch the recording.
I guess so. Speak on.
Well.
Bad news. I know this is an idiot. Oh my god.
I checked out for a second. What were we talking about?
I think we were talking
my
about
brother?
Luke's brother.
Yes.
Why does this keep happening to us?
What?
I think it's just life.
The two ADHD people in the room, why do we keep forgetting things? Everyone else. Blink, blink. Anyways, you were talking about your brothers.
Yeah, they're not that much younger than me. Gillian's like third in line, so he gets to do, you know, adventure-y stuff. Gallivanting. I mean, I also kind of do adventure-y stuff, but it's more, you know, military things.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough.
Yeah.
Relatable.
seems like it's more up your alley than anything else you could be doing.
Yeah. Philip's always been kind of upset that, I'm the first son, because he's been, like, managing stuff and stuff. Sir Avalon liked him, too.
What about you?
Well, he likes me, kinda. I mean, he thinks I'm good at what I do, and he's asked me to do things a couple of times. Sweats nervously.
I kind of meant you and your brother.
I don't know. Get along alright? I kind of think he deserves to run things more than me. Always been much better at it. Brendan Ford's more about... I don't know, I'd probably make a good lord of, like... probably make a good lord of, like, Dawn Chad or something, but Brendan Ford's about economics and farms and optimizations and...
Not to make your head hurt, huh?
Yeah, well, kind of. It's more just stuff that I don't get. Like, when stuff's broken, I'm great at fixing it, but just in terms of how to improve it and, like, sort of goes over my head,
Yeah, no, I get it.
I think a part of why Avalon liked him is that, Philip can do the whole intrigue thing, and I can't. No.
Not for everyone.
No, not really.
Remind me to tell you about the time we arrived in Leora.
Yeah.
What? Wait. I don't even know this story, because this is from before you met us,
well.
isn't it?
It is.
You're gonna have to tell us now.
God damn it. Alright, well. So, this was after we were coming back over the snow spines, after all those adventures. That was something like a 2-week journey on its own. I'm not sure how we didn't get lost, but that's a question for another time, I suppose. Hang on, I need to
Very
look at the map.
careful planning.
Thank you, Sorrow. I don't know what we would do without you.
Get lost.
Anyways, we came over the mountains somewhere southwest of Orlane. Made our way to Orlane. Everyone wanted to push us away because we were adventurers.
Oh yeah,
Bastards.
I heard that.
Or rather, they kept trying to send us up the road.
Jay and Riza go. Luke's like, huh?
They wanted to send us to the general store up the road. They wanted to send us to the tavern up the road. It wasn't until after we ran into a road agent who dressed us down for scaring the locals that we realized what everyone was trying to tell us. Which was, go talk to the road, they're the ones who deal with your ilk.
Oh. Yeah, I just would have, like, looked down the road for a general store. Yeah. Yeah. That's kind of the point. Yeah, I guess so, huh? Huh. Oh, wait, is there a Rogues Guild in Brendanford that I don't know about? What are the...
Mm.
Oh, no. Okay. Now some of those weird road comments make sense. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought that was probably within their operating area.
Yeah, the Duke has some sort of deal with them?
I'm pretty sure everyone has some sort of deal with them.
Except, like,
Except for the
Kloss.
Cedarwoods. And Kloss.
Nah, they don't really go down south very much. The clock tends to beat them up. I mean, they're making progress, but...
Fair
What I've heard, they're
enough.
kind of superior to the clock in every way.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Sort of have a stranglehold on the market. When you think of, boy, where can I go to get something that only a rogues guild can provide? Unless you live deep in clock territory, you probably think of the road.
Yeah, pretty much. And they've got agents down there. It's more just that, like, well, the clock's more of an actual, thieves guild and criminal underworld type thing.
Rather than the road who are just like, we can acquire anything, ask no questions. They're kind of a legitimate business at this point. It's kind of funny.
A legitimate business with no moral qualms and no listening to law, and not listening to anyone else's rules. The clock is actually a criminal heritage megacorp.
I feel like the government of Lior would also be a megacorp technically, because yeah, they do have an actual government technically, but the road's in charge.
Yep. Yeah,
That's
pretty
very
much.
funny.
The clock is just a bunch of branch offices, a bunch of the criminal branch offices.
Wow, I can't wait for our next Stellaris playthrough to have someone being the road.
The problem is that you can't play them very well because, there's no, half criminal heritage thing. You could straight up play the clock, but you couldn't straight up.
Okay, sorry. I take it back, Your Honor.
No, it was a very interesting comment, and I was just thinking about it some more out loud.
It's a joke.
It was a good joke. I only talked about it because I seriously considered trying to play the road and then realized that I couldn't, and then it was like, oh.
Well, now I find myself wondering if the road has their fingers even here in Tiris. What was the name of this tavern again? Inn? Not
The Wayward
tavern,
Crystal.
Inn. Okay.
Maybe there's a rose guild
dear.
called the Crystal.
That's not my problem.
Yeah, you're right. That's not my problem.
It's not a
That sounds
rogue
like
guild,
someone
it's an
else's
arcane
business.
tricksters guild.
Arcane Tricksters Guild! Because everyone has magic.
I mean, you're right. Did we ever tell you about the tirisian race that me and Lena were thinking about?
You mentioned that it's a slightly different variant on human. And it's better.
One level adjust, or one, yeah, plus one level adjust for a hit die of wizard.
Yeah, Tirisians are humans with +2 intelligence, and I don't and probably know that human as human. Instead of +2 to anything, it's +2 to intelligence. A level adjust and 1 wizard hit die with a +1 level adjust.
That's deeply funny.
Mm-hmm. You have a sort of how Rakshasa have racial hit dice of sorcerer. Tirisians have a racial hit die of wizard. Because you go through wizard school
Yep.
before you do whatever else you do. Graduate from middle school, go to cantrip class.
First, they teach you how to read, then they teach you how to read magic.
Pretty much.
I don't know. It's just. Something about this city, the longer I stay here, it's starting to become discomforting, almost. I'm not sure why.
Weird. I don't feel that.
I think I'm just waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Well, now you've got me worried. Nikasi holds her head in her hands. Like, goddamn it, you set him off.
Cassie needed validation.
I don't know. I've just been sort of overwhelmed by all of it. I think Tiris might have its issues. They're just less
Different.
immediate. Like, I mean, they do have, like, I don't know, maybe, like, something with the nobles? I don't know if Emrys would
Could
even
be.
know, because she is a noble. I could tell the players, or I could not do that.
I kind of know what all, like, some of Tiris's issues. Well, like, if you're bad at being a wizard due to, like, low intelligence, for example, you're kind of out of luck.
Yeah.
People with 10 intelligence do not function in this society.
Yeah.
This is a problem.
It's very meritocratic with social welfare. Emrys mentioned that about the thing with Tiris is it's a thing with Tiris is that it's sort of like almost straddling post-scarcity society. So, honestly, more people than don't work for fulfillment rather than actual money.
Huh.
Because the government is not begrudging about just not giving people more than the living amount, and just there you go. Because they can. And plenty of people who do that. Like the process started because like plenty of mages were just recluses who come out 20 years later having developed a crazy new spell. Like Matomas was one of them. Like he would just subsisted on government funds for about 30 years and then showed up with all the Matoman and things.
I support him.
I do too.
So they're just like, yeah. There's some issues with, like, social prestige and stuff like that, and tensions between the upper echelons. As I mentioned, it's stratified economy. Almost everyone is in the specialist bracket, which is an amazing way to live, but there are the ruler class. The nobles do exist.
Mm-hmm. Which means politics exists.
Yes, although they're mostly limited to amongst the nobles. The ruling council governs fairly and broadly listens to the general wishes of the people, but they don't technically need to. Well, okay, they do technically need to, because when everyone is armed with rocket launchers, public uprising causes big problems.
Maybe a little.
So, they do pretty much need to follow the will of the people indirectly. It's a lot like Singapore, right? Singapore is a country in East Asia, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you've probably never heard anything about the government or any complaints about the government.
I haven't.
It's a one-party completely what's the word called? It's an authoritarian regime. It's a one-party authoritarian regime. There's no, like, manner that the people have say in the government. It's kind of like China.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, dictatorship. That's what I'm looking for. It's a one-party dictatorship, no official public participation in government at all. The thing is, they're like a lot of small countries like that just sort of had the regime just sort of give up and go to a republic if the populace demanded it. Singapore could just as easily do that and have an actual democracy. So the people in power are like, we can listen to the people and be in power. What the people want can happen, and we can be in charge. Or what the people want can happen, and we can be executed for being dictators.
In charge or executed?
So they pretty much just listen to what the people says, what the people want anyway. Some stuff that would never happen in a democracy happens there, a la ban on chewing gum. But, like, broadly, what the people want happens because they don't want to lose their authority, which they could if they stopped listening to people. Mood with Tiris.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's an oligarchy that listens to people so that it stays in, because they're in power by the grace of the people, so they listen to them. But it is technically an oligarchy, selected from the noble families. Like, if Emrys wore her Varland's cloak, people would recognize her. Partially because she's a celebrity duelist, but when you're both a noble and a celebrity duelist, it's like, I don't know, if Will Smith's son turned out to be amazing at fighting, you know?
The only time I've seen him fight was in the Karate Kid remake, and I do not wish to relive that memory.
Gosh. Like, okay. If Emrys has been debating wanting Caspian to do some sort of showy display, because they can now. If she did, she is a noble. And once people notice that, they would get a, like, a la modern day, a whole bunch of people watch with cameras thing. Because she's a noble. She's important. Theoretically, if she was powerful enough. I mean, like, the thing is, if you're a powerful mage, you can get on the council anyway. because it's the most powerful and competent. It's not necessarily the most powerful mages, it's the most competent for governing, but, you know.
Mm-hmm. Most powerful mages sounds like a good way to get a council filled with a bunch of liches.
Yeah!
Actually, that's a specific thing. You're banned from any official government positions if you're immortal.
That's very smart.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to do any governing, you better do it before you make yourself immortal.
Mm-hmm.
That's smart. I like that.
Some people claim that there are some immortal mages who still have a lot of political clout and probably shouldn't, and there's, resting grumblings about that. And sometimes enough people get upset that they do actually make okay, fine. Watch, look. I am leaving the city. I am now in a tower over there. Are you happy now? Are you happy now? Literally every single person in the populace. That does nothing! Sending exists!
If you can turn yourself into a lich, by God, you better be able to cast Sending.
Literally!
But those are the kinds of problems. If you ask Emrys about it, she will say that those are the kinds of problems that Tiris has.
Mm-hmm.
If you'll notice, they're more similar to our problems today.
Yep.
Mm.
Because they've drastically reduced scarcity. Same as us. But, yeah. Cassie being by this place tracks, because modern society also has its
Mm-hmm.
We live in a society.
We live in a society. The thing is, what's throwing her off is that it's like, imagine if, imagine if you left the US and you went to Canada, and it turned out that Canada had a Dyson sphere and matter replicators and was literally a post-scarcity society.
Yeah.
You would feel like everything's kind of a bit too good to be true. Especially if, as you kept going, like, they have technology that, as far as you know, was completely impossible. Like teleporters, or, AI. No one works a job because it's all taken care of by semi-autonomous robots.
You want rogue servitors? Hey, get rogue servitors!
Now you get rogue servitors. Like, you cross the border and suddenly you're in an endgame Stellaris game without the endgame crisis. And you're like,
Where's the crisis?
Weird. Where's the crisis?
Me playing Erdaxla, where's the crisis?
Where's the crisis?
Fun fact, it can only spawn 50 years after the endgame start year. If you actually want Crisis to show up at year 400, move the endgame start year 50 years earlier.
Oh.
Me at year 470, where's the crisis?
It's mean time to happen. It starts being able to happen at 50. I think it's also mean time to happen 70, but or it's either mean time to happen 70 or 50 or something like that. Do you know what mean time to happen?
Yes, I know.
Okay. So yeah.
Like, okay, here's what's throwing Cassie off. Desires good things for mankind. Tiris has good things for mankind. Problem: not good things for all mankind. Good things for magic mankind.
Aha. Oh, that is a perfectly valid, that is a perfectly understandable thing. Especially if Cassie rogues around the streets.
Valid.
Especially, the thing is, especially if Cassie rogues around the streets for a day or two. She will pick up that, the thing is, it is the majestate of Tiris.
Mm-hmm.
It isn't. Possibly because of the distance to the rest of the world, but it's very close to becoming a magic supremacist society. If you'll notice, Lionel was actually a magic supremacist. He just didn't notice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, he legitimately didn't realize.
Mm-hmm. Caspian knows, like,
I'm doing this in sort of in place of actually seeing Tiris happen, with this sort of, I guess apparently would we like to do some more glossing over of exploring Tiris and getting to know it a bit more?
Sure.
sure.
I like knowing
because
things about Tiris.
that is a great thing, like, especially if Cassie Rogue's around for a while, people will ask, oh, who are you? Some of the people will actually recognize her armor, just be like, is that a replica? Where'd you get it? Oh, really? You're bringing the Empire back? Oh, neat. Hey, I wonder if like, almost about, on average, third, but almost always by like, fourth question is, you plan on reforming the college?
That is not my problem. That's Equus's problem.
Do you want me to call Equus to answer that question for you, Cass? I can make him squirm.
Oh, please do.
Hey, Equus!
What? One moment.
Poor Equus.
What?
Two things. One, we're in Tiris. Do you want anything?
No.
Two, we're in Tiris. Do you plan on reforming the college?
What? Hey, that's not my problem. That's your problem.
Kathy says it's your problem.
I'm going to be doing like magic
You're
policing or
Archmage.
something. I get.
Is the Archmage like the guy who leads the college? Is that how that works? Your wizard,
Well,
your wizard boss.
kind.
That means you're the boss of all the wizards, meaning you're in charge of wizard school.
I kind of.
Cassie's gonna have to worry about like actually governing and running the empire. She doesn't have time for wizards. She doesn't know how wizard schools work. We'd fuck it all up.
Well, unless you make. Well, oh crap! Wait a minute. That was kind of No. Right now, I am the Archmage, not the Denarian Archmage. You get a different court Archmage. You get someone else to start the college. I'll be busy.
Who the actual fuck do you think we're gonna have? Yeah, you think I'm gonna have Tirisians do it?
I don't know, Calvaris.
I don't think he went to college. I think you should get someone who went to the college.
But I'm going to be busy.
You better promote left real fucking fast then, huh?
What? Fine. Down. No.
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 We have a lot of guacamole in the Empire.
Stares in. What happens if the sands are cured? Y'all. Hey, Equus, want to start a college too? Equus,
The thing
T-posing.
is, that's nowhere on their minds of that being a thing that can happen. You know?
Yeah.
I'm going to be doing like managing diplomatic thingamabobs probably or something. I don't know.
That's incredibly vague. Are you trying to get out of this?
Cassie says you're being vague. Are you doing drugs?
No, I have the magical sense from magic that I'm going to be busy doing something else.
Great.
think
Okay,
he's
so I
trying
guess
to
we're
get out of
not.
this.
You're trying
Or
to
he's
get out
on
of
drugs.
it. Either way, I guess we're just not having college then.
Wait, no, that's bad.
Well, then who the fuck's gonna start the college? You want us to hand that responsibility over to Tiris?
They wouldn't, even if they could.
Yeah, exactly.
They do their thing.
Do you really think Calvaris can handle it? You're gonna have to give him a crash course on how the college worked.
Well, we don't want it to work the same way. Last time, it resulted in the Empire being destroyed.
Oh, well, fuck it then. Give it to him. Who cares?
Well, okay. At the start, it was fine.
Tell him how it was at the start, and then tell him how not to develop it.
I won't. I wasn't there at the start.
Well, presumably you know the history of the college because you're the Archmage.
I mean, kinda. But it's not like
it's
I knew how
it's
the
better than
Archmage...
I know. All I know is one time the college was founded, and then it blew up. And then it all got shoved in a tower for some fucking reason, and then they made a statue of you, and thankfully it wasn't naked at the end.
You know what? Actually, that's fair. Yeah, that's fair. Okay.
Can someone please give me a brief history of Canada? Picture of dinosaurs, picture of meteor, picture of Tim Hortons.
That's brief. So yes on the college question, but like we're not going to specify how we're going to do it, is what you want us to say? Maybe probably.
Yeah, well, like, okay, you want to do schools and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Well, as a part of that, do magical schools too. So you're probably starting the college, yes. A college.
Nice! College 2!
This time with less problems, hopefully.
Can I say this time with more problems?
No?
No!
Less problems.
Less. Sorry, she said less.
Okay, that's much
She forgot
better.
to, sorry, her original calculation forgot to account for me.
Hey, Varnus! We're looking for candidates to be the person to run the college. No, I'm pretty sure I'll be busy. What do you mean, no? I know that you agree that... well, then if not me, and if not you, then... The line goes dead.
Equus?
Yeah, what?
What?
I'm arguing with Varnus now.
Okay, have fun. Come, get back to me quickly.
Let us
We're
know
kind
if
of
you have the answer.
Well, we did answer. You're reforming the college.
Yeah,
Let
but now
us
I
know
don't know
if
what
you
you were
have
going
a
to say.
suggestion.
Yeah, we're
No,
we have a
I was
suggestion box.
volunteering him, and he's saying no.
Well, no, he's not a wizard.
Well, okay. Let's list the people that we know who've had the education that could potentially become archmages. Any member of the sauce is right out because they're the sauce, and will never get anything done, and are probably too busy doing whatever it is you do.
Fighting the demons who have coming to like kill Teddy because he stole something or something.
Too busy doing that. Who else do we know? Calvaris didn't really have the formal education. Spent 200 years frozen, and spent however the fuck long he's been alive in a cave.
I think
Emrys.
with a cave is irrelevant. I think with enemy is what matters.
Touche. Emrys, who is a Tirisian and is probably going to be busy kissing Caspian or something.
Running a lake and a like griffin stable. I don't know what you call it, a place to keep griffins. Well, I guess we're just gonna have to give it to whatever spellcaster Jay terrorizes next.
That sounds like a horrible idea.
Yeah,
Sorn,
it does.
who was not formally trained and is
A
from
drow.
the Underdark, and I that's just not a good look. I feel. I feel like that would cause problems.
No, that's not a good look.
Someone from the guild in East Pacino.
That's
No.
worse.
Furious. No.
No.
Better than some of
That's
your
it.
other suggestions.
That's it. That's all we know.
Look, I'll tell you if we find any.
Wait, we could hang on. We could also very nicely ask my father and also not tell him we're related. That sounds like a great plan that can't go wrong.
That has
He's a wizard.
absolutely no drawback.
We haven't even done a background check on the guy. He's perfect.
Look, I'll tell you if we pull anyone else out of a weird time vortex thing.
Time to get reaching through your fucking windows, man.
I don't think that's how that works.
Have you
Reachy,
tried?
reachy.
Look, I'll call you when we find the old Archmage. He's probably still kicking.
That sounds like a really bad
Feels
idea.
like a bad idea.
That sounds like a lich.
That
No.
sounds like someone who may or may not have caused some of the problems
Oh, all of them.
last time.
Great. That sounds like you need to fight him for dominance.
Yeah, that's probably gonna happen at some point.
And then you get to steal his cool magic items and merge them with your magic items. You get to become the ultimate archmage.
Yup.
Wow, wait, is that actually how that works?
Yeah, actually, that you
Hot
were joking,
damn!
but that's kind of spot on.
Fuck yeah! I figured out how wizards work!
No, we don't normally work that way, but in this case, yeah.
I figured out how archmages work!
Now you can tell
Okay,
Lev
that's actually kind of
so
true.
that he can pass it on to Sir Avalon.
What?
No one else overheard that conversation, apparently. Alright.
What? Wait, what?
At the sauce banquet,
How do wizards work?
how do wizards work?
They fight each other for dominance and they fuse the loser's magic items to theirs to become more powerful.
God, they're Zerg.
The thing is, that would actually answer his question.
I can't believe that wizards are just playing magic item Katamari.
I don't understand that joke.
Katamari is a game where you have a ball of stuff and you roll around on stuff to get more stuff so that you have a bigger ball of stuff so you can collect more stuff.
Ah.
Either that or you eat the things. I don't actually remember it. I've never played it.
Fair enough. Alright, well, we've got some real shit candidates lined up. Either way, it sounds like we're making in college. Fantastic.
I'll send
Yep.
Darius the paperwork.
What?
Oh, he'll lose it. Don't worry.
With our luck, it'll be the one thing he doesn't lose.
Yeah. I'll send it to Klaus. He'll lose it.
Eleanor will find it. Hey, there's an idea! Let's put the 20-year-old elf in charge of the college.
No.
Yes. Listen, we already know she can run town. She has like a third of Klaus's job. Wannabelle does the other third, and he does the final third. Ah, to
The
be
third
Klaus.
he does is making guns.
Yep.
I don't know
Ah,
what
to be
he needs
Klaus.
so many for.
Spares. Maybe he just maybe he just has them so he can write a really elaborate will. Where he leaves large numbers of guns to everyone he's ever met. And the numbers all, like, mean something. And then, like, we gotta piece them all together, and there's a clue hidden on every gun. And then eventually it just leads us to a chamber where there's just the biggest fucking gun imaginable. Just a bad news, like 6 barrels.
I wouldn't put that past him.
Your brother's kind of the stupidest man alive, and I really admire him for it.
Klaus has the intelligence to become a very good wizard. Also, Klaus, he, black powder.
Yeah! He exploding dust. Dust that makes him explode.
Dust that makes everyone that isn't me or my family explode.
Me, my family, or that one elf.
Or Serenov, apparently.
Serenov's practically family by now.
That's fair.
He's that weird relative that you're not sure how you're related to him, but he's just here.
Well, are we done with that quiz?
I think we're done with that quiz.
Thank you,
Equus. Thank you, Equus, for guest starring tonight on Derium. God, I love Valence giving him a normal question and then just slamming him with a completely not normal question. But the thing is, Equus can never see it coming because sometimes he just drops a random question on him, and sometimes it's just like, "Hey, do you want to restart the college?" out of nowhere, and other times it's just like, "Hey, Equus, why did they call it an orange? Like, did they name it after the color? Did they name the color after the fruit?" Next, like, it is 4 a.m. I should be asleep, and you definitely should be asleep. Go to bed.
Fish is coming for you, Equus.
Oh no!
Valence winks.
I have an idea as to who might make a good archmage. It's hella spoilers.
Is it anyone we know?
Yes.
Huh.
It is a sauce spoiler that you know.
Ah, okay, yeah, no. Would you like me to pause the recording?
Yes!
Okay.
Because you figured it out, so we should let 10 in if they haven't also figured it out.
No, you fucking haven't. You did it for like 1.5. Shut up.
Okay, recording is live again.
We back.
Spoilers are over.
I can't believe that Varnus is actually just a plant man.
I know. It's crazy, right?
SMH.
I know.
That's why his vocabulary is limited to I and am and Varnus.
No, it isn't.
He's got a constant tongues effect.
Oh my gosh.
It's built into his helmet.
But sometimes he takes the helmet off.
Built into his armor.
You joke, but there's actually a tongues gem in there.
I am the winner.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but
Why?
okay, but that doesn't mean it's always on, Lena.
Oh, no, it's not. So, yeah. Anyway, right, we were talking about Cassie going around Tiris, and they'll ask things about that. They ask things about her armor. Fairly quickly is the answer of the college, but then fairly quickly is the question about the college. Although they do seem cool about, like, you know, the Empire being reformed, because it's like, that's neat.
Yeah, Empire good.
Yeah.
Empire is solidly good, says Tiris, the inwards perfection. Province. Province? Yes, that's a word. Province.
Mm-hmm.
English is my first language.
Mm-hmm. Very Tiris of them. Oh, Beans, I had more things to talk about, but,
Oops. We Equused you. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I might remember if we talked for a bit more.
Well, we were talking about some of the problems that Tiris has. Like, they're low key, just barely avoiding turning into a magic supremacist state.
Well, it's not that they're low-key avoiding, it's that the state that they are could easily be the way that it is, inwards perfection, but the exact same societal situations would also be conducive for a magical supremacist state.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, they are neutral broadly. The broad alignment of Tiris is neutral good. They're chill at making things, and there's a decent bit about like sort of almost the obligation to help out other people, but like how Tiris is incompatible with them, so like they do what they can, but they don't. Imposing the Tirisian way on other people isn't actually helping them. That's just conquest.
Mm-hmm.
The prevailing opinion is that anything large scale would either be creating dependency or creating more Tiris. And in either case, that's not actually a good thing.
Mm-hmm. Damn it, Tiris, why do you have to be so hard to export?
I think it's part of their charm.
Yeah. Oh, right. Cassie, I do remember at one point you talking about, I think this was after the Daenerys binge, after seeing something there, you were talking about setting up like some sort of state school or state farm or something.
State Farm.
Yes, we're going to set up an insurance company that gets sued every other day for not paying out. Wait, no. Rebooting. Yes. That is something that I talked about. It was a farm. It was farming state, essentially food bank? It's not like the right feel. Food stock. Because skeletons are something you can export from Tiris as long as you don't replace every job in the Heartlands with skeletons.
Mm-hmm.
Because that would cause problems. Such as
Yes.
all of the people who are farming no longer have jobs.
I remember there was something with some sort of rotation where, like, you take kids and educate them for a bit, and then...
Interesting. I had that idea again today. So, I'm glad that my brain is consistent, but I have no idea of the details I brought up at that
I know that
time.
you sent this to me over text somewhere. No idea where, though.
Well, time to find out. Welcome to Derium, where we actually play for about 10% of the time we sit in the group.
Yep.
This episode of the Derium Binge brought to you by Squarespace.
Fuck you.
This part of the Derium Binge brought to you by economics.
Uploaded
Which
version
you can
of Derium
learn
where
about
you just
on Brilliant.org.
Uploaded version of what town? Uploaded version of Derium where?
Oh, where it's actually just the parts where we play. It's like 2 hours from the whole binge.
My apologies, Tan. I had some stuff for some of the other people, but I don't remember what exactly. They ask, yeah. Tiris is like, oh, the Empire would be neat, and then we can sort of, chip in and help out and stuff like that. That would be cool.
Well, I haven't found that conversation, but I did find a character idea that I buried in TriDM. I'm going to read this word for word. Character idea. A necromancy or construct specialist, currently still in school, named Maya Blender. She's in an animation program.
Do I have jail rights? Cool.
Do you have what rights?
Jail rights. I put her in Seven Fell Asleep because we don't have a jail. I think she's in stream rooms. I don't think she fucking noticed. Hi.
You got moved, and you didn't notice because you were in streamer mode.
Oh, fascinating.
Yeah.
After Maya Blender, you got jailed.
You get jailed.
I can't find the conversation we had about it. I'll look harder later. But
Trying
that
to
still has the...
Still trying to recover the ideas I had before Equus. Got Equus, there was something
Alright.
about... No, it's cool. I kept going with this for a while and got caught up in it. It's cool. I don't mind, I'm just stuck on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just some more of impressions going around Tiris for a while. Trying to think of them.
Well, when we stopped, you were specifically talking about how, like, the college was the third thing, or by the third thing, everyone was asking about the college when, they find out who I am, what I'm doing.
Yeah, I know, there was somewhere I was going to go from that, but I don't know what. Beans.
Beans.
Would it help if you started the talk again?
Maybe.
Okay. I feel like at this point the correct way to recover those files is to let them slip.
Yeah, move on.
Because just beating your head against a wall is just going to cause you to stare at the blank spot where they're supposed to be instead of letting your brain organize organically.
Mm-hmm.
Who doesn't have streamer mode on. I can hear your Discord beeping.
I have streamer mode on.
I have streamer mode on, but not on my second computer, which is currently unmuted.
Nice.
Nice.
Fucking nerd.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm just... The places I was going... The directions I was going to go are lost.
That's fair. Maybe you'll remember later.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about Tirisian cuisine, Seven. They don't have window bread, so do they have anything like, you know, at least tolerable as a replacement?
They do not have any similar customs, no. In terms of cuisine, they're not actually that much different from anywhere else. There are more fruits and less meat. Well, no, actually. About as less meat than you would expect from... They have about as much meat as most of the Heartlands has meat, as opposed to, you know, if you're like, relative to the social stratus, relative to all of the other improvements, there's not as much meat, as they have about as much meat as normal people have meat. Apparently, animals are harder to raise with undead.
That's not surprising.
They have some things. They have, they've embraced... Unfortunately, I am not much of a culinarian myself, given that I don't taste things, and I eat notably bland foods and the same foods repeatedly. Tiris does not have notable, other than not as much meat as you'd expect. They don't really have much notable about their cuisine. They have...
Do they use more spices?
Yes.
Interesting.
From what you hear, a few of the noble families got that way by figuring out methods to cultivate the spices, or sometimes just replicate or transfigure them.
Yeah, tracks.
Neat.
You're thinking about it again. Stop it.
Well, I got closer because it had to do with either a lesson or the Council of Archmages. And I started to get there, but couldn't quite make it. If Valence goes around...
Me.
Him?
He can actually, if he and Jay go around particularly, you can find that there's not actually that much crime in Tiris. Mostly due to
Who needs to do crime? There's no need to.
Mm-hmm.
Desperate people do crime.
Yes. Well...
That's not completely true, that's an overgeneralization, but...
Yes. Well, I was actually moving on to my previous point about there's not a lot of crime in Tiris. Well... kind of. Mostly Jay can actually find a group called the Wayward.
God damn it. There they
Seven.
are.
Hmm?
We were looking at the wrong part of the name.
Mm-hmm.
Who are actually more similar to the moon than anyone else you've seen. They assist in some of the intrigue that happens in the higher levels.
Ah.
Doing things. It's mostly
Very, very throne of them.
yes.
Very
Actually.
much like Wollscron's throne.
Very much like the throne. They're far more. It's far more privacy, or other similar like trespassing, violation. Crime in Tiris takes more the form of violation of boundaries than other things.
Yeah, tracks.
Yeah,
Many
correct.
aspects of life, including, like, for example, the dueling, have managed to maintain their sense of honor, which was actually another thing that they picked up from the Empire. Honor and respect for traditions and positions and such like that, have helped keep a lot of things straight, but some of the more... But the games of power are not quite as pure.
Mm-hmm.
They're very similar to the throne, or the, very similar to the throne and the moon. More information gatherers. Spies, really.
Track.
It doesn't, if you mention the Wayward to other people, they'll be like, oh, whoa. Most normal people seem to be aware that they exist, and not overly interested, because, like they mentioned, they don't have much going on. That's more of a thing that the nobles have. Like Cassie, because she's still, somewhat, about all the things. We'll notice actually some people are tense towards her if she mentions that she's a noble. There is some tension between the normal people and the nobles. Because the nobles do have more, but, like, normal people have quite a bit, so it's like, Similar to the situation where we have here, where most people live their everyday lives, even though the 1% have so much more. Well, for one, the gap is not nearly as large. But...
No.
And for two, the people who are really making a fuss about it, the lower echelons. And the lower echelons, and even the lower echelons of the middle class, don't really exist, as scarcity is far less. But political power and the ability to decide things is...
pretty much relegated to, the oligarchy.
Yes, which the general consensus is they're cool with. Like, most people don't mind. In fact, there's a prevalent opinion where if you would ask, like, perhaps talk about this political thing, other than things that can be basically understood, like the Empire, and we're like, would you be interested, like, what would you think about this or that political topic? A good example might be Brexit, something as complicated as that. Most of them will just be like, well, that's what we have them for. I don't feel qualified to figure that out. They know how we think.
Opinion.
They know how we think and what we act, and we can trust them, and culturally, Tiris is close enough together to actually have fairly strong shared values. And
God, trusting your fucking government, what a concept.
And the oligarchy knows those values and can be broadly trusted to stick by them because, as I mentioned, unlike, hilariously, in the Empire itself, that level of honor and respect is still present in Tiris. That's actually one of the big things that happened to the Empire, is that a great example would be a position, which is, I don't remember its name, but it is a specific person who doesn't have a vote. They're one of the few people who are just elected directly by the populace. Just straight up, particularly the poor. Right? they're one of the few people who are voted for directly by the poor. They represent the plebeians. And they don't have a vote. They basically have... They can talk and they can give speeches, but they don't have a vote. They can't propose anything. They have basically no official political power except for what? An ultimate veto to block anything at any stage. Just dead. And it can't be proposed again. Just done. What this tribune's veto is supposed to do is be like, guys, what the hell are you doing? Sit down, stop, think about what you've done. Like, they're the people's guardian. They're there to protect the people against basically bureaucratic excesses that make sense within the sense of the politics or benefit the politicians, but don't help the people. Right?
Mm-hmm.
They're basically a guard against corruption or self-detrimental policies. The thing is, as a part of this, the ability to stop the government from doing bad things and be mostly outside of the government in order to be able to do so, not held accountable to anyone but directly the people, and the ability to override anyone else. It's not like you can put a limit on how many vetoes they have without it getting weird. You can't enforce a limit on their veto.
Mm-hmm.
If they use it sparingly, if they use it as intended, then it's a wonderful system. It's great. It manages to protect the people against stuff like gerrymandering, right? Which doesn't really have an efficient method of being dealt with. But if they don't use it as intended, the rest of the government has no way to stop them from doing what actually happened in real Rome, which is a couple of tribunes got power hungry or got in a scuffle with each other and would literally veto everything until a thing that they wanted happened. They could pretty much hold the entire government hostage because their office was granted powers.
Unlimited power.
Yes. With the expectation of restraint. And when when that honor failed to be upheld, is when the empire started going really downhill. The exact same thing happened with the archmages in the college.
Welcome to Rome. Welcome to Rome.
This is the problem with representative democracies.
Actually, no. It's based on a system that manages to gain great efficiency by expecting that its members will trust and honor traditions. America's democracy doesn't do that, and as a result has other flaws.
Mm-hmm. I'm solidly in the boat of if you trust someone else to do something, but you don't personally know them, you're an idiot. Because, like, people, like, collectively, people are dumb. See coronavirus. See the United States government.
It wasn't even necessarily trusting individuals, it was more trusting society to be unaccepting of people, unaccepting of tradition breakers.
Ah.
Before someone did it, and it worked, no tribune dared to do this sort of thing because they assumed that either
that no
A,
one would stand for it.
no one would stand for it, B, they wouldn't get reelected because that's unacceptable, or C, something else would happen. Else is assassination.
Yeah, once the Romans figured out that they could kill politicians they didn't like, they just didn't stop.
Mm-hmm.
I remember this because they killed a dude named Tiberius, and like, holy fuck, we can just assassinate people. Hot damn!
Tiberius
it
is
was
actually
the
the
new
tribune
crowd.
I'm talking about, who started vetoing everything that passed through Rome. Yes. Oh, they were right. They were right about how this wouldn't stand. It wouldn't actually. It would have
Oh,
bad
shit.
consequences in the end.
Fucking Tiberius.
It just Tiberius and his other Gracchus brother. The Tiberius Gracchus and another Gracchus and his brother, who I don't remember his name.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the only reason I remember Tiberius's name is because I remembered that they fucking killed him, then we're like, holy shit, and it led to this long string of follow-up assassinations. It was very funny to me. I didn't even remember what he did to get assassinated.
Passed through reforms that were arguably needed, but through a method that was just... Everyone else had been bending or breaking the rules of the system that was designed to be... That was expecting everyone to be sporting. That's the best way to put it. Was expecting everyone to be sporting. He was the first person who really openly didn't.
And people didn't have that. They're like, we can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do that. He's like, I did. What are we gonna do about it? And they're like, we're gonna kill you for it. And he's like, oh. Fuck!
At which point, no one was sporting ever again.
Yeah.
And so, the Roman
Everyone looked at each other
Empire
and went,
moved
the
10
populace
minutes...
can't kill all of us.
And so, the Roman Republic moved 10 minutes closer to midnight.
When they were sitting at 5.
No, they still had a couple decades left before Julius Caesar actually showed up, but, you know...
Yeah.
Another example of this. Governors and military commanders could not be persecuted for anything until they were done.
This explains why they got away with so many war crimes.
Well, they were persecuted once they were done, but it was the sort of like, look, we can handle this afterward. First kill the enemy, then deal with the fact we screwed up. You know? Existential first, everything else after. So, Julius Caesar did a whole bunch of shady, really unsporting, you know, political stuff, and everyone, like, turned around to him with the banhammers, just like, well, see ya, I'm in Gaul. Like, bye, nerds, I'm the governor of Gaul. Whee! Guess what governors have? Imperium. Guess what that means? You can be prosecuted for anything.
Goddamn diplomatic immunity.
Yeah, pretty much. That's how he lost a couple of legions and then came back to Rome and did a bunch of stuff and became, like, not an emperor, then got stabbed a bunch, and then Augustus actually became emperor. History of Rome. Anyway.
Augustus is just the name of people who just swoop in and snag power, huh?
I wouldn't actually be surprised if Augustus renamed himself to that, because it means in Latin, like, the risen one.
Yeah, fair enough. Very funny for a vampire.
Funnier if his name used to be Octavian.
Why?
Augustus the Emperor used to be named Octavian, but when he became, you know, the Emperor, he renamed himself Augustus. The risen one. Or the elevated one. The one who is risen above.
What a
Funny.
self-aggrandizing bastard.
He was a Roman emperor!
He was the Roman Emperor, both the best and the first! Also, Augustus quickly became the
Why are the
title.
Roman emperors like that? Because they were following in that dude's footsteps!
He was Malum. He was Malum if Malum had the ability to save scum. Roman Malum with save scumming. That's who Octavian was. Part of the save scumming is, you know how in Skyrim sometimes you'll just get upset, so you'll, like, think you dropped a save and then go, like, bat crazy and, like, kill all of Whiterun or something ridiculous and then try to reload the save and then realize that your last save had an important quest beforehand, and you lose a lot of progress, and so you're just kind of stuck with what you did. Yeah, that happened to Augustus a couple times. He's also
the implications that Augustus is a Skyrim character.
Example.
Loving the implication that only Skyrim players are capable of taking over the Roman Empire as emperor.
Okay, when Augustus, or Octavian at the time, heard that Julius Caesar was dead, he was away from Rome. He was in Greece studying astronomy. That astronomy part is important. So he hurried back to Rome and was like, yeah, I'm here. I'm installing myself, claiming myself to be Julius Caesar's heir, because that's actually what it was. Like, in his will, Julius Caesar was like, and my heir is Augustus. And he was like, damn. And so, remember how I mentioned he was in Greece a bit?
Mm-hmm.
So what he decided to do was he decided to hold very important funerary games for Julius Caesar. How's about... let me check my... 17 days from now. That's an arbitrary number, but it's a very specific number, and that's the important part. And then, just so happened that on the second day of the funerary games, a comet soared overhead. Mr. Augustus, who'd spent his time in Greece studying astronomy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he knew the comet was coming, and he used that as and he used the comet as justification to say that Julius Caesar had ascended to godhood. And the people bought it because comet. Yeah, tracks.
Comet sighted.
Mm-hmm. Deified, the thing is, deified Taliesin is actually very similar. Not similar, actually, but you know where the Temple of the Deified Taliesin was?
Mm-hmm.
In real Rome, what stood there was the Temple of the deified Julius Caesar.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Built by Augustus. Yeah, the best way I can describe Augustus is Malum. Roman Malum.
That's the worst combination of things.
That's a very bad combination of words.
Mm-hmm. With less honor.
I'd like to point out that malum is both Latin for apple and
evil.
Bad.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
So, congratulations. Augustus was a bad Roman.
Alternatively, he was the bad apple. That
Get
spoiled the
Get out.
Yeah, no.
Get out.
We know.
Get
we
out.
know, Seven.
Get out.
Have you not heard me make that joke before, Lena?
No, I have. I just want him to get out.
Alright, I will. I'm going to go to the bathroom real
Yeah.
quick.
Oh,
Alright, bye. This isn't Derium. This is history.
This episode of Roman History with Seven was brought to you by The Ballad of the Sauce.
By Teddy Sienna. He just wants us to talk about him. Tenny Sienna.
How many minutes did he want this ad to go on for? 20? No, we're not doing that.
We're throwing the Equus time into his ad. It's product placement. We're contractually obligated to mention the sauce at least 6 times every Derium binge.
Yeah.
And we get $20 every other time we do it.
Wow, so much money. I can't believe we got a sponsorship that was so generous.
Listen, now we have $40.
Hi, Seven.
I'm back. Sorry, I got distracted with Rome. See, this happens every time I... Right, Generally, some of them are a bit upsetty about things, but most of them are cool because they trust the government, because the government, that level of honor and trust in positions and and more importantly, people's reactionaryism against people who don't is still present.
Mhm.
And actually, and a part of it that Cassie might get is that actually political health is taught in the schools. Just because there are enough well-meaning people who've been around for long enough, and Tiris is an educated enough society, that people will actually tell you, yeah, like, we've thrown out several oligarchs because they didn't. Several of the archmages because if they didn't follow the rules, we needed to get rid of them for the health and stability of the system, because if the system is no longer enforced, if things stop being in good faith, then our whole system breaks. So we must preserve that faith.
Tracks.
Like, this is not necessarily universal, but it's strong within the culture.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're, actually taught that.
That's impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Another part of Tirisian culture that we can't export. Who'd have thunk?
I want that for us.
Yeah, that'd be great. Can we get that in real life?
Our systems are designed without honor in mind, but
We could sure fucking use some.
with less honor in mind, and yet people have still managed to figure out how to do the low blow underneath the honor. Donald Trump, which is why I'm really worried about him getting reelected. I'm not nothing doomsday about he's going to become a dictator, blah blah blah. It's more that it sets a political precedent. If he gets kicked out of office after 4 years, people are like, sure, can just sort of dismiss it as reactionaryism, which is a completely valid explanation. But if not, yeah. Anyhoozle. I don't really know what else there's a lot more gender equality here in Terrace.
Woo! Woo!
You'll notice, mostly because men and women are equally good at magic, and that's what people care about, so... you will notice, Cassie, among the nobles, there is still a strong pressure of the, for the wives to fill the same role of courtly wives, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Not so much in the subservience manner, but in the courtly, the thing that a court wife would do are good and valid, so you should do that. Like, this is an important role in society that is fulfilling. You should do that, Emrys.
Emrys? But what if I didn't?
Actually, Emrys's bigger issue is, but I don't trust like that. That's Emrys's bigger issue. She'd mind, but not nearly as much as you'd think. If she could trust like that. You'll notice that the culture among the nobles is a lot more similar to the cultures that you know.
Nobles are nobles.
Because it's the part that's had to change the least in order to work in this.
Yes,
setup.
Very little of it has changed. The noble families do rise and fall from grace. It's a lot less static than previously, and it's more just determined by if a bloodline produces competent mages regularly, or someone sets up something like the Varlan's family are known for raising griffins, they acquire wealth and or fame, and as a result, they become a well-known family.
Mm-hmm.
For this reason, actually, plenty of Tirisians have last names. Just because, Sometimes a family will declare themselves and acquire a last name. Other times it's like people who are distantly related to a minorly important family.
Mm-hmm.
Plenty do, plenty don't.
Huh. Neat.
Yeah. Without speaking to the council itself, I'm not sure how much else I have for you, unless you guys have other questions.
I do not.
I'm starting to run out of steam for the night.
Indeed,
I'm
I was
tired.
thinking so too. Well, I think this was a nice.
We did get started at 11:30.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, it's Snow's birthday.
Bastard man.
Well, so that was a nice closing up for Tiris, and I suppose we can go ahead and head out of Tiris next time.
Yeah. We can get some things done.
I'm going to label this recording as a 0.5 because pretty much nothing happened in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's okay.
Let's chill.
We learned about Tiris, and that's the important part.
Mm-hmm. And the biggest thing is it helped keep the ball rolling.
Yes.
Alrighty. And with that, we're going to go ahead and end the recording.
All right.